Oh, it looks like I'm naked. I'm probably gonna get this wrong. I hope I don't. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lara if you don't already know me. So I'm going to try and keep it very brief with this intro and just get straight into this topic because I have a lot I want to talk about. But I do hope you guys are all doing well, you're safe and healthy and coping under these crazy circumstances. I know things are back to normal in a lot of places. I know here in Melbourne it is definitely not. We're in a level 4 lockdown. Currently editing this video and I just really wanted to jump on here and really quickly say, as much as I'm talking about like my health issues, I just want to make it very clear that I am actually grateful that this is the worst of my health problems at the moment. I think now especially it would be really tone deaf for me to act like I have it that tough. Like, I'm no way trying to insinuate that at all. People are literally dying. We're in a pandemic.
There's people that are dying.
Just want to make that extremely clear and hope you enjoy the video. So basically what I want to talk to you guys about today is actually like a bit of a health journey. I'm kind of just going to be sharing my experiences with you all because I feel like a lot of what I've gone through, a lot of other women have gone through, and it's something that I'm really starting to notice is not very talked about. There's a lot of research that still needs to be done. There's a lot of awareness that needs to be brought to it. I'm honestly so grateful to things like YouTube and discovering new people on different platforms, which is kind of what raised awareness for me personally. Recently, as in like very recently, literally in this week, when I'm filming this, I was diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome. And to be honest, it's something that I guess I was a bit caught off guard by, but not really, because I just kind of knew. I don't know, I feel like my intuition just told me that it was going to be this, so I wasn't too surprised. But I think that things are just feeling a lot more real to me now, because you know when you know something's not right, you just know. And I think for a very long time I was kind of told by doctors like it's fine, and kind of gaslit into thinking that I'm fine when you know your body and you know when you're not fine. So I'm really kind of glad just to have some sort of clarity, because I've had to fight for so long to just get some sort of answers about what has been going on with me. So I just wanted to share my whole story, my whole experience, and hopefully this resonates with some of you, and if not, it even just raises awareness, because like I said, I'm very lucky that through the internet I know a little bit about what PCOS is, and I have a bit of an understanding about it because of things that I've come across. Basically, the way I got to where I am now of being diagnosed, it's a very long process. How I got to being diagnosed, it's very different for a lot of women, and for some women it's even harder to get a diagnosis or get any clarity. Mine has been just kind of years in the making, part of it my own fault, part of it other people's fault. I'm looking at you doctors who told me I'm fine. But anyway, I'm not here to hold a grudge, it's fine. For me, this kind of all started literally in my teens. I just always had, it's going to be a lot of graphic details, etc. So the men that are misogynists, you guys can click off if this scares you. So basically, in my teen years, I always had a very irregular menstrual cycle. I literally would not get my period for like a year or months apart. Like, it was just, yeah, it always caught me by surprise because it was so few and far between, or it'd be really long and then never at all. Like, it was just a mess. And I also had really bad acne. Now looking back, I'm like, was it cystic acne? I don't know. Looking back now, I wonder if other symptoms I had were to do with that, but I really don't know, like I said, because we just aren't taught about these things. There's really no awareness around this. So basically I went to the doctor and kind of, you know, explained this to him, and just straight away I was put on to birth control, which happens to most young girls, which I'm trying really hard not to be too critical or not to say too much, because I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I won't give my 2 cents on medicine, but I do find that a bit disappointing that first step's always just birth control to mitigate the symptoms, and that's it. When, you know, often we get these symptoms, it's a sign from our body telling us something isn't right. Obviously a hormone imbalance, there's so many things. I'm going to try and leave some resources in the description so you guys can just learn a little bit more about it, because like I said, it's just not discussed and talked about near enough. So anyway, so I went on to birth control pill, my skin cleared up, my period became regular. Obviously I would take the sugar pills and then so I had a normal menstrual cycle. Hey guys, still editing this video. I just wanted to add a quick snippet in because I didn't mention this. But the period that you have on your pill, it isn't actually a genuine menstrual cycle. It's just like withdrawal bleeding or something. I don't know the exact wording. So when I say mitigate the symptoms, yes, my period was regular, but it's not like a healthy cycle. My skin cleared up, everything was fine, and for years I just always took it. Deep down I sort of knew, it's like, this isn't really necessary for me, because I mean I wasn't really needing the birth control for other reasons most of the time. I'm gonna have to edit that out. Anyway, so I would try and go off it sometimes just to see, because I just was like, why am I gonna just take this forever? Like, it just didn't seem sustainable to me. So I would go off it and then immediately my skin would go terrible. Immediately I would just have no period. Like, it was just always a mess, and I just always was like, okay, this is too much. I'm just gonna keep taking the pill. And then what happened was, when I was in, I think I was in second year of university, so I was like 19 maybe. I went and had a pap smear done. And the reason I did this was, first of all, the laws in Australia were changing where you would have to be 25 to get a pap smear now. So I went for my first pap smear and I got the results back and it said they were abnormal. Now, getting an abnormal result for your first pap smear is actually very common amongst women. There's a lot of different reasons that you can get an abnormal result. So it's not always something to be concerned about, but obviously it's something that you need to follow up on. So basically what happened was, I actually went for my pap smear initially because, I don't know, I just had an inkling. I knew something wasn't right. I don't know, I've always had that gut instinct, and I'm so glad that I followed it, because I had been told by plenty of GPs, it's fine, like, for your age, just stay on the pill, like, don't worry about it, like, you're not gonna have kids anytime soon, so it's fine. And I was just like, I don't know, I'm just not one to take risks, especially when it comes to my body. There's a lot of things that PCOS can lead to, and infertility is one of the big ones, and that's something I'm always being conscious of, because I know that I want kids more than anything. Anyone who knows me would tell you that. A bit too much for someone that's single, but anyway, that's just not something I'm willing to take any risks for. Obviously, whatever happens, whatever's meant to be is meant to be, so I'm not going to fixate on it, but I'm obviously going to give myself the best chance possible and look after my body, as we should, regardless of if we want to have kids or not. So anyway, I went for that pap smear, I got the abnormal result, and I honestly was a bit, I don't know, it's so weird looking back now, because I didn't register all these points in my mind, but because it felt so real to me, I knew something was not right. I kind of like stored it away, compartmentalized it? Yeah, I stored that little data point away, and I was like, I'm going to deal with that later. I had a lot of other stuff going on in my life. I was trying to just get through university, get through just life at that stage. So I don't think I was even like emotionally ready to deal with this situation, because it is a lot of back and forth and getting answers. I mean, still now I'm having to educate myself so much, because the research isn't out there, the information isn't out there, and doctors for sure are not sharing the information at all. So it's a lot of self research. It's very isolating, to be honest. It feels very much like, am I crazy? The feeling I'm constantly going through, I'm like, is anyone else concerned? Is it just me? Just me? No one cares. Okay, no one cares. So I think that at that time I just did what I kind of had to do and dealt with what I needed to deal with, and I feel like now I'm in more of a space where I feel like I'm ready to kind of actually tackle this issue properly, because I really care about my health, and I want to make sure I'm taking the right steps. From that then onwards, I was about 19 years old. Was that about 3 years ago? I just kept taking the pill, and I was like, okay. The doctor did tell me, they're like, oh, it's normal, like, don't worry about it, get a pap smear again in a year or two. And then 3 years later, which was this year, I actually went for another pap smear. Over those 3 years, I did have a lot of other like health issues that now I'm also wondering if it could be linked to PCOS. I'm not, like I said, still so much ambiguity about all of it, so I don't even have the answers. I'm still figuring it out, and that's why I want to share it with you guys, so hopefully as I start learning, I can kind of share that knowledge and make it a bit easier to consume, because I'm listening to all sorts of audiobooks, podcasts, like articles, like it's just a lot of information, and I'm just trying to like register it all. So I had all sorts of health issues over the past few years, nothing really serious. I've had like IBS and like inflammation and anxiety and all that fun stuff. That kind of led me to this year, where I then finally went for another pap smear, and this is where I was like, okay, this is kind of make or break. Like and I think also I knew like, okay, I'm gonna probably get that not so great news, so I'm gonna prepare myself for it. I feel prepared, like I'm ready to tackle it. I'm like working full time now. I feel like more settled in my life. Like I feel like I've got my life together, not really, but a bit more than I did at uni, so I'm kind of like ready to take on whatever I need to do for it. So yeah, anyway, I went for my pap smear this year again for the second one. Also a bit of a process to get it done, because I couldn't prove that I went for my first one a few years ago, and because I had one abnormal result, that kind of made me eligible to go for another one, whereas now if I hadn't gone for that first one, I would have had to wait till 25. So that's something I take a lot of issue with. I hope that they that there are other means for women to see what's going on with their bodies. Anyway, I went for my pap smear and I got another abnormal result, and I was told again by my doctor, just keep taking the contraceptive pill. I'm not just going to keep taking the pill. I mean, it's just not sustainable. I just take the pill forever until I want to have kids, and then I find out there's fertility issues or my hormones are unbalanced. Like, I just don't see that as a solution, to just be on the pill forever. And it's not something that I want to do. Not that I'm against it. Like, I really know that the pill helps so many women. It helped me. I mean, it mitigated all my symptoms, but I just don't want to do that forever. So anyway, I kind of just accepted it for a while, and then I decided, like, no, I think I want to actually do something about it. So my first course of action was that I was going to go to a gynecologist. So I spoke to my GP, and she was like, let's first do let's do an ultrasound test, and then we can see what's going on. At this point, I was actually feeling like I'm being dramatic. That's how, over all these years of 5-6 years of medical professionals just being like, it's fine, like, just take the pill, like, it's not that deep, girl. Like, it was just really frustrating. I knew that, like, my body just isn't working the way it should be, and I know that there's a reason why I'm having to use the pill to have my hormones balanced. I think that's something that there's no education about it. Girls are just put on the pill, deal with it, that's that, and then if you have a health complication later, then they deal with it. I would rather look after my health now so that I don't have to take like a bigger course of action because something bigger has happened. You know what I mean? I'm all about long-term health. I don't want to have to go for surgery in like 20 years or however long because I wasn't looking after my health now. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do, and that's where I'm trying to go with this whole journey. And I just wanted to really share it. So anyway, I went for a ultrasound. They did a, like, is it internal ultrasound? Oh, really, girls, I feel for you. I know the pain of the pap smear, the internal ultrasound. Ooh. Can I also just say that I didn't have any medical grade lubricant for my pap smear. It was uncomfortable, to say the least. So I did the internal ultrasound, and they said that things looked fine. So then I was kind of like, oh my god, like, got really excited, which was naive of me because that wasn't the end, obviously. And then they also just did like the normal ultrasound where they just checked both sides and everything like that. And they found that there were, see, I'm gonna get the terminology wrong because I literally just blacked out when I got this call, but that there were extra particles on both my ovaries. So I'm not sure if there's cysts. I'm gonna have to look up my results. Anyway, there was extra particles, could be cysts, could be, I don't even know. I'm still trying to educate myself. The thing that is confusing about this diagnosis is that there are just so many different symptoms, so many different like root causes in like female bodies, so many different results, so many different things that can go wrong later down the track, all sorts of health complications, and that's just something that I'm very conscious of and I don't want to have to deal with at a later stage. So then I was told, just keep taking the pill. The doctor was like, yeah, so you have PCOS, but keep taking your Diane pill, that's a treatment. And I was like, sorry guys, I literally keep changing angles because the sun just keeps moving. But anyway, so I was told, even now with my diagnosis, that the pill was a sufficient treatment. It's not, like, it's literally not. I'm not a doctor, but I will say it is not a treatment. It mitigates your symptoms, but it doesn't mitigate future health complications. There's just a whole list of health issues that can occur because of polycystic ovary syndrome. So I will, like I said, leave some resources down below so you guys can actually get some more information, because like I said, I'm still learning as I kind of share this whole journey and experience. And obviously, you know, if it wasn't obvious, I really didn't want to just keep taking the pill because, like I said, I don't think it's a sustainable solution for me. I really care about my reproductive health. I think that's something that just isn't taken seriously. I don't know why, like, I don't understand it. I know that the contraceptive pill industry is really profitable. I know that the fertility treatment industry is very profitable. So that's me putting on my tinfoil hat, my conspiracy theory side of things. So I mean, I don't know, maybe there's a reason. Basically, I decided that, like, this is when it's really hit me. It hit me multiple times throughout the years when doctors were just telling me it was fine, when I knew I wasn't fine, that I'm gonna have to take things into my own hands. It just wasn't taken seriously, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of my own research. I'm gonna have to do a lot of my own I don't know, like it really just feels like I'm on my own on this one. I am going to be going to a gynecologist, so I'm hoping that that is helpful, but based on the information that I've seen online and other women sharing their experiences, often still they're not really taken that seriously in regards to effective treatment and like lifestyle, how that comes into play. So I'm really like, I guess I'm interested to see what they will recommend and how we can kind of work this out. But I feel like it's to the point where what other choice do I have? But I'm going to be trying to take a very holistic approach to this whole diagnosis. I know that there's a lot of things that play a role, and I actually am very conscious of my health a lot of the time. I mean, I eat bad food like most people, but when it comes to like every day, I'm very conscious of the things that I consume. I don't know, I feel like a bit let down by my body. I'm like, I feed you vegetables and this is how you repay me. Like, there's just a lot of things that I've been trying to do for a while, and now that I've got this diagnosis, it's like I think I'm just gonna have to take it a lot more seriously. Another thing that I've actually done a lot of research and found is that stress plays a huge role in PCOS, which is something, well, not necessarily PCOS, but in your hormones, and having your hormones balanced and stuff like that. Stress plays quite a big role, a lot more than I ever knew. So that's something that I'm always working on. I mean, you could look at my channel and how I talk about meditation and mindfulness and stuff like that. Those are things that are really important to me. So I'm very like interested to see how incorporating all these lifestyle changes will help. I have been off the pill now for about 4 weeks, and let me tell you, I've been through all the symptoms. It's actually, I thought I was going crazy there for a minute. So my hormones have been insane. My mood swings have been insane. I'm like happiest, saddest, angry, upset, everything, literally everything under the sun I've been through. My skin's getting really oily. Like I've been getting cramps. I never get cramps. Like I've been going through a whole lot of different symptoms. My anxiety's been really bad. Also, I've been getting the worst headaches. I think I did look this up as well, and I think it's kind of like a withdrawal thing. Like my body's been on this pill for so long that it's kind of figuring out what to do, I feel. So I've been getting really bad headaches. I'm hoping that that is temporary, just because my body's like acclimatizing to not being on it anymore. So I'm like in that point now where I'm logging all the symptoms, because, like I said earlier, a lot of symptoms mean different things about your hormones. So it can be like your hormones, can be insulin, it can be thyroid issues. There's so many different things. So it's actually really good to log your symptoms that you're having. So that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. The reason I thought I would sort of start and share is just because I just want to get the awareness out there, because I feel like this whole journey of me even just getting diagnosed has felt like a very lonely journey. I talked about it constantly. And people would just, I don't know, I just think people don't really care that much, to be completely honest. It feels very much like, I mean, I'm on my own if I want to get some sort of solution, or if I want to get my body to a healthy, like naturally healthy place. So that's kind of why I wanted to share it, and just also know that you're not alone. And what I want to share most of all is that, especially when it comes to you women or men, you know your body. And that's one thing. I feel like I was kind of gaslit, so told that I'm fine. And I think no one knows your body better than you do. If you think that something's not right, please don't give up and don't stop trying to get answers. I was close many times to just not getting answers. The way the medical industry is with women's reproductive health, a lot of women's health issues in general, I've heard so many stories, horror stories of how women suffer, like with endometriosis and PCOS and these types of issues. And it's just really swept under the rug and not taken seriously. I don't think especially male doctors understand like the pain that women go through. Just all the symptoms, it really does affect you a lot. And only now am I just starting to get the answers that I actually needed this whole time to make the lifestyle changes that I need to make. I'm definitely going to a naturopath as well, alongside normal doctors. Like, I'm not discrediting medicine at all, obviously. This is just my personal experience and kind of what I've had to go through, but I just wanted to share the message. All I can do is keep researching, and I'm really hoping I can share this journey with you guys. I'm really sorry this wasn't as informative as I would have liked. Like I said, I'm still learning. This whole diagnosis, everything's very new to me, but I really, really want to make this something that I talk about on this channel, because I just don't think it's talked about enough. I think so many women are suffering from this. Even when I've talked about it briefly on like my Instagram and stuff, I've had so many other women respond saying that they've had similar experiences. So I just feel like I want to make this a place where we can talk about it and raise more awareness, because there's no reason that we should be suffering in silence, and there's no reason we should take the scraps that we've been getting. I think we deserve better healthcare. I think we deserve validation. We just need to be validated for what we're going through, because it's a really isolating feeling when you're going through something and it's not taken seriously. I don't know. I really don't know. I know I'm very lucky that this is probably the worst of my problems in regards to health. I definitely could have it worse, but at the same time, you know, I think that I'm entitled to want to look after myself as much as possible if that's what I want to do. Yeah. I don't know, it's all just still very fresh and new to me. So hopefully I can provide more clarity to you all in the future. And if you're going through something similar, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to chat about it. You know, you can share our experiences. If you have any questions, concerns, anything, let me know as well. You can let me know in a comment or reach out to me on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram down below as well. That's the only other social media I really use. But yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll hopefully see you guys in another video very soon.